former player and coach Kevin Broad, broadcaster, all of the likes, joins us here on Big Board Sports with reaction to the naming of Dave Smith, where a lot of the talk was Ben Barr. A lot of former players, a lot of alums were throwing the name Ben Barr around. Young assistant coach, great ties to RPI, does not get the job. The committee goes to Dave Smith from Canisius. Kevin Broad joins us here on Big Board Sports. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Good. And what is your overall reaction to the naming of Dave Smith from Canisius as the new head coach?
Yeah, just trying to digest it all. I think like everybody else is. First, I want to say this one, it hits a little close to home. Good friends with Seth Appert for all these years, and obviously Nolan Graham and Brian Vines, the current assistants, and Ben Barr is actually a good friend of mine. He was my captain, and we're actually brother-in-laws as well. So obviously, I had thought maybe the stars had aligned perfectly, and it would have been a great fit. I think a lot of alums also thought Ben Barr was a great fit. But I guess the search firm decided otherwise and have gone with a different direction.
Is this a different direction because of experience? To me, that's the only thing that makes sense here is that they went out and hired a guy that has a lot of experience as opposed to a young assistant coach ready to become a head coach for the first time.
Yeah, with just speculation right now, and I think until the administration kind of steps up and answers a few questions and gives us a little bit of insight on things, I guess that's just what one has to go with. His experience, I've heard he's kind of an old school guy, and perhaps if things didn't work out the way RPI and Seth Appert thought it was gonna, perhaps that Ben Barr was maybe too much of a similar situation. Mm-hmm. If we backtrack 10 years when Seth was leaving Denver. That's just pure speculation, and until RPI, I guess, comes out with more information, I guess that's all we can do at this point.
And you know what? I don't know. I don't know Dave Smith, so maybe he's going to be a terrific hire and do a great job of the RPI program. Have you talked to Ben, and did he think the interview went really well? I know I interviewed 4 guys last week. What did Ben Barr think he was going to get this job?
I think Ben thought he had a really good interview on campus. He came by our place right afterwards, and I think he felt pretty good. I believe he was the first one on campus. But without knowing, how the other 4 do, it's tough to tell. But he felt good. I don't necessarily know. I think he knows what this is all about and how it can go one way or another. So I think he didn't get too high, just in case it did happen. And it's just part of the job, and I guess part of the industry of going after jobs, and sometimes you get them and sometimes you don't. But definitely I know that he did feel good after his day on campus.
Kevin, a lot has been written and said here recently about the RPI program, and they've only been to one NCAA tournament in 21 years, and I don't place all the blame on Seth Appert. We wore a lot of hats over there, and a lot of alum and former players have been critical of the way the head coach is set up right now at RPI with the responsibilities. Does that need to change with the new hire here to make it a better working situation so the coach can really just go out and coach?
Well, I think first off that's a very good question to ask the administration. I'd like to hear their thoughts on that personally myself. What I do know is that RPI we do have access to a lot of resources as well, and a lot more than a number of other schools in the country. Exact allocation of time for the head coach, I don't know that breakdown. Could they always be better? Could there be more resources available? 100%. I think there always can be. And perhaps this is an opportunity to see if RPI will maybe step up in some of those areas that we might be lacking. But at the same time, I will say that being on the inside and knowing some of the things that I know, that RPI does have a lot more resources than a number of schools in the country. And, I think we still can win, and we can still win soon. If it is Coach Smith, he's now one of us, and we wish him all the best and the success. And we want the program to do well, and the alums are passionate, as I think everybody noticed in the past week, which is a good thing. I think we're some of the most passionate group in the country, and it just, it's a little emotional right now, I think, for a lot of guys.
No doubt. Kevin Broad with us, former player, played under Fridge, right? Back in
played under Fridge for 3 years. He recruited me, and then Seth came in as Kirk McDonald and I were co-captains my senior year, and that was his first year. Took a year off, and then was a volunteer assistant under Seth for 2 years.
Well, listen, and we're big Pritch fans. I thought he was did a tremendous job. And, you know, in a lot of ways, Seth Appert did a good job too, but just not enough wins, not enough trips to the NCAA tournament. You said, soon, like to get things, that the program is not in awful shape. You hear about coaches coming in and the cupboard's bare. Here comes Dave Smith, Kevin, into this RPI program. What's he inheriting here? Is this a quick turnaround? Does he have enough parts in place to get this thing going?
Yeah, I think he does. You know, how soon, I think time will tell, but I just look back to, I think it was Princeton, when Coach Godowski came in there a number of years ago, and they went from, you know, the outhouse to the penthouse real soon. And I don't necessarily think it was a whole bunch of resources right away. I believe in the players that they're recruiting, Nolan and Brian. I think there's quality players there. I also think that Coach Smith may not take this position if he thought the cupboards were bare. So I think it's still a good opportunity. I'm optimistic that we can win soon, and there's nothing more the alums would like to see.
Do you think there needs to be a facelift with the Houston Fieldhouse in terms of renovations? Would that be a step in the right direction?
I don't think it would hurt. It's a tough call, you know, with the tradition versus something new. But, you know, Joe Louis Arena in Detroit had a lot of tradition, and I believe they're moving out of that place and tearing that thing down. So, you know, if you want to keep up, I don't think anybody would complain, incoming players or current players, if RPI did have plans to put up a new facility, and I would back that for sure.
And we also got word this morning that Seth Appert is going to be coaching USA national team, or an assistant coach on the USA national team. So, and listen, I don't have any doubt that down the road Seth will land on his feet and do extremely well coaching hockey.
For sure. I mean, we all know Seth quite well, and he's a young guy, and he's passionate about what he does, and he'll find the right position for himself. It may take a little bit, or it may happen soon, but I'm confident that he'll wait and make sure it's the right fit for him and what is a good fit for him and his family at this moment in life. And no question he'll bounce back, and probably sooner than not.
Kevin Broad, appreciate a few minutes here on Big Board Sports this morning. Former RPI player, coach, broadcaster, good insight on what has happened and what will be happening with the RPI men's hockey program. Thank you, Kevin.
No problem, guys. Have a good day.